Project 1065, chapter number 10. Degenerate Filth. A bonfire already burned in the middle of the street, built out of split timber and broken furniture from a house that had been bombed out by the Allies. It reminded me of a bonfire the men had built in the street during Kristallnacht, the orange flames just beginning to flicker in the broken glass at our feet as my parents and I turned the corner. The heat coming off the bonfire here and now was inviting in the bitter February cold, but it was hard to enjoy it, knowing that soon we'd be heaping piles of books on top. The Nazis used to have book burnings like this all the time. Back when Hitler first took over, he ordered that all the un-German books be pulled out of schools and libraries and burned, and the un-German books were pretty much every book. People were supposed to burn their own books too. The Nazis had huge book burning ceremonies where they tossed all the offending books onto the bonfire while they sang Nazi songs and celebrated being stupid. By the time I moved to Berlin in 1937, they were pretty much done with book burnings, mostly because they had already burned every book in Germany. But every now and then, they discovered somebody's hidden stash of degenerate books, and they made a big show out of burning them in the street as a lesson to everybody else. We stood in line in the street while our Hitler Youth leader marched up and down in front of us. His name was Horst, and he was 15. Horst was thick-necked, donkey-faced idiot whose idea of a good time was throwing rocks at stray dogs. The era of Jewish intellectualism is over, he told us, regurgitating lines the Hitler Youth Organization had pounded into his thick skull. The German man is not a man of books, but of character, of action. These books, he said, squeezing one of the offending volumes in his fat hands as if it was a cat he was trying to strangle, are evil spirits of the past. We consign them to the flames so the world will know there is no place for decadence and moral corruption in Germany. No, I thought, no place for decadence or moral corruption, but room for book burning in concentration camps? From the flames of this disintegrate filth, Horst said, flinging the book into the bonfire, the phoenix of a new German spirit will rise in triumph. Now get inside and cleanse that house of its corruption. This was why we were really here, not to learn a lesson, but to do the work the SS didn't want to do. We broke formation and ran up the steps into the thin, gray little row house. Just inside, in a cold, lifeless parlor, stood a small pile of pathetic-looking books, like the last rotting apples left on the ground after a harvest, while the other boy fell on them, grabbing up handfuls and handfuls to haul outside. I took in the room. There were a few pieces of furniture, worn-looking upholstered chairs, scuffed end tables, a once red rug whose color had faded to a kind of rust brown, but everything personal was gone. There was no mementos on the fireplace mantel, no knickknacks on the tables. Bright round circles of color stood out on the pale wallpaper, where pictures had once hung, and an empty vase in the corner sat on its side, knocked over. It was unbroken, but no one had set it to rights. The cold settled on me, chilling me to the bone. This house was dead, and so too probably were the Germans who lived in it. Who had they been? An old couple living out their last years together? A young couple making a new start with hand-me-down furniture? A family with children, perhaps, a boy my age. Whoever they had been, they were as dead as this house, or soon would be, carted off to a prison camp to die. All for a sin of hiding forbidden books in their home. I picked up what was left of the books and followed the other boy outside. They weren't thinking about who lived there or where they had gone. They were merrily tossing the books on the fire, happy for any chance to throw something and watch it burn. I tossed one book onto the fire at a time, slowly, so Horst wouldn't see me standing around doing nothing. My skin crawled as if I was consigning little bits of my soul to the fire with each book I threw. But like smiling at a Nazi dinner party or memorizing facts about the Nazis for tests in school, it was all about the bigger mission. It was all part of the game. If it meant them letting me stick around to steal their secrets so the Allies could win the war, I'd burn every last book in Berlin. Hey, he doesn't want to burn the books, one of the boys yelled, and I flinched. I was busted. All right, that's the end of our chapter. We'll read one more tomorrow. See you guys later.